to chat in the chat window, because I'm not able to hear from your side. Some issue in our mic, I think so. Let me check afterwards, okay? But you can communicate with me in the chat or any of your WhatsApp. You can do it, okay? Okay, we will proceed with our class. Let us revise and then we start that. So this is nothing but we have already seen some of the basics, and this is I'm repeating because just to recollect what we have done in the last class and all that. These are the important one you require to know always. So we call this as a big O notation and all that. So which measures your complexity and time and all those things. Next, in the last class, a few class, we have seen what is array and some array operations related to your data structure, how I can do the insertion, deletion, so on. And we have seen another structure called as a stack. So we have already compared how array is different from a stack. In case of a stack, I have a privilege to add, okay, but I will, while retrieving, I can take only the last element, okay. So we call this last in first out, okay. But in case of array, I can take out or modify any element, okay. So any position I can go and change the operation. That is not true in case of stack, okay. So we have seen various operation, especially for the infix and a prefix and a postfix parsing. So these are the major questions what you get, maybe getting in your exams or any kind of your MCQ for this one. So some of the array operation, how you can implement, and some comparison between this push and pop or something, and the given expression, how I can convert into prefix or postfix, like that, okay. Then we have touch upon the queue. Queue is nothing but it is also can be implemented either by array or we can implement by the another data structure, that is a linked list, okay. So we'll see in the next classes. But in the queue, if I implement by the array, now how it is different from array, if I see, it is a data structure where I'm trying to put here, but in the main rule for the queue is first in first out. So I can insert the data at the end, okay. But when taking out the data, I have to take out from the first, okay. That's the reason first in first out. Whoever comes first, they will be leaving the first, okay. So that is the main rule or constriction what we have for the queue. So it is you are entering the data at the end, but you're taking out the data from the first, okay. So this can be implemented by you using array. We have seen in a last class two methods, okay. To just to recollect, this is your array structure. So I have a size of whatever the element, the number, the capacity of the queue I can think of. So these are the some inserted elements in that, okay. So if you want to insert one more element, it is always at the end, okay. So you can't insert in between here. So always at the end, okay. But if I want to remove, I have to take out always from the first, okay. So that is the rule for the queue. I can implement this using an array in one method, okay. Anyhow I inserted, but when I dequeue or when I remove, what I do, I'll take out the first element and shift one position at a time, okay. So that I am just representing the whatever remaining element. So by this method, we have seen that, so if n increases, okay, so say for example, you have 1000 elements. In that case, when I remove the first element, or because I can remove only the first element here. So if I remove the first element, but in this case, I have to shift 999 times, okay. So the complexity of DQ is going to be more, or it is increases with respect to n, okay. So this is the implementation, the algorithm for that. But instead of this, to simplify the work or complexity, we have seen one more method. Okay, so this remains same. Instead of shifting all your element one by one, what we are trying to do in the next method is, instead of the pointer was allocated at this, it is holding at the address of this particular information. When I say I remove this element, what I'm trying to do, I'm just changing a position of this pointer to the next element, as if I'm assuming that this is being removed. Okay, but physically it is not being removed. You are just changing the pointer position. Okay, so with this, the insertion happens because I can have the index element. I can directly insert at the particular position at the end of this. And if I want to delete, I'm just changing a position of the pointer, but physically I'm not removing this element. Okay, so that is a second method which we have seen already. But what is the advantage with this? The, if you see NQ, it takes a easier method, only one time complexity. If I say, it will be easier for me, so it takes only n, sorry, 1. But when I do the DQ, it is also takes 1, because here I'm just changing the position of the pointer, but physically I'm not moving any of, I'm not shifting any elements. Okay, as in case of the first method. So it is also brought down to 1, okay, as compared to n in the case of previous. Okay, so anyhow, if I want to query for first and the rate, always it is by the only one iteration or one complexity, time complexity I can think of, because I can directly point to the front and I can directly point to the rate end of this. I hope this is clear. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can chat, because I'm not able to hear from your side. Okay, but the problem in this case, what we can see here, if I just take this, when I try to put a, say for example, I have done the DQ. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 times I removed. Okay, DQ'd. So what is the pointer position? The pointer is going to come here. Okay, because I've removed these 4 elements. Consider like that. Okay, I removed this all elements. What is the things? It is the front is going to be moved. It is pointing here. Okay, so for example, if I want to insert one more element, so I have a space here, so you can insert here. Okay, 1 minute, I'll record that. I've not started the recording. I'll go back. Yeah. Okay, so in this case, as I was telling, so we were moving here. The pointer at this position is at the 5th position. So okay, so if I have a, there is a space for me to insert here, so I can insert one more element. Okay, now what is the, if you see the length of your queue, it is just, it is holding only these 3 elements. Do you agree? Because I've removed all these. Physically I've not removed. Okay, only the pointer position is being changed. So if you see, the effectively you can point only these 3 elements. If you have completed the insertion is there here, you can just point these 3 elements. Okay, but these spaces, though they are physically available, I can't point, because I don't have a privilege to go back. Okay, because the pointer is always going in the front. Okay, this in the case of this kind of programming. Okay, so if I want to insert one more, that is not possible. Okay, though the capacity, as initially you have spelled out, it is the 8. Okay, because it is index is more, one more than that. So you have the capacity is declared as more, but you can't physical, or you technically you can't, you can see only 3 elements, or you can have only 3 elements here. Okay, so that is the difficulty, or the complexity, or that is a restriction, or its limitations. Okay, in this kind of what to say, a linear queue. Okay, we call this is a linear, the queue is implemented by linear array implementation. So this can be overcome by the your circular method. Now what do you mean by the circular here? Okay, the circular array, if you see this, I will show you the next slide how exactly you can see that. But circular here, it means that the capacity is 8 or something. The index is, the maximum index is 7. 7 plus 1, that is 8. Okay, so 8 capacities are there in this. So this is how the elements are retrieved. Okay, it is position or given an element index. But if I want to go back to this, there is a provision for the pointer to move to this positions. Okay, the beginning of the elements, we'll see that how we can do that. So that is, we call that wraps around, or it is in circular fashion. So if you see this implementation kind of, so this is how the linear queue is will be. Okay, so you have a front pointer which is pointing to the first element. Okay, the rear pointer is pointing to the last element. So if I just put it into circular form, so this is the how I'll be representing them. Okay, so this is okay. You can see that it is a representation is only the change here. It is not so. Okay, so when I see the implementation kind of, so as we discussed in earlier case, so if I dequeue these two elements, okay, the front is this pointer is moved to this, okay, second position, second element for the index of this. So I have only 4 elements in this, and I have the rear if I at pointing at this point, say for example. Now if I want to insert one more element, the rear, the position of that, the pointer, when I increment this pointer position, it will point out of bound, because array size is more, is going to be less than what the rear is pointing. So it will give the error, but that is not the case in the case of circular. Why? Because it is nothing but we are using a mod concept. Okay, so the array size, if you observe here, array size is 6. Okay, that it can take 6 elements. Okay, in this case, so the moment it increments the pointer value or increments by 6, okay, what you're trying to do, you're doing a mod of that. So the moment you do mod, what is happening, it is going to, this is what is the, so you are incrementing by 1 and you're trying to do a size of that. Okay, so this is how it is done. So because of that, it is again pointing to the 0th element. So the index is again brought back, the rear end, it is going to come to the your front end here. Okay, that is the change what you can see compared to the linear queue to the circular queue. Okay, I'll just repeat. In the case of circular, if you see the implementation or memory representation, it is in a linear form only. But the arrays, the pointers which we have here at the end, they have a capacity or capability to point to this particular position by we are using a mod concept. So when I do the modulation, this mod operation on that, it will be pointed out to this. Okay, so the moment I do the mod by 6, in this case is a 6 element, in this it is a 5. Okay, so when I do the mod, it is going to point to the 0th element, so it will be inserted at this particular position. That is not possible by the linear implementation. I hope it is clear. Okay, any doubt, you can chat in the chat window. Okay, now with this we'll see how I can implement in our what is say implementation with the programs. Okay, so to see that, we will be, remember we have 2 pointers called front and a rear. Okay, so we will be having 2 pointers for this. Okay, which will keep a track of the first and a last element. Okay, so the name itself is suggested here. For initializing, when the queue is initialized, remember both the front and rear are initialized to -1. Okay. Then when you are doing NQ, that means NQ is nothing but inserting into your queue. Okay. So what you are trying to do, both the first element, when I want to insert the first element of that, So both are incremented because initially you are keeping them as a -1. So the first element, when you do a first insertion, both are pointing to 0 because you are inserted at the 0th position because the first element. Okay. Then when you are inserting the subsequent position or whatever, only the rear will be moving ahead. Okay, it will be taking a values or incrementing. Front will remain at the 0th kind of. Okay, until you do the DQ. Okay, so when you do a DQ, you are always pointing from the front because it is a first in first out. So you are DQing at the front, and front pointer is being changed now, incremented when you do a DQ. Okay, and the rear will remain as wherever it is pointing. There is no change in that. So you require to write a program where you have to, before doing all these operations, always we require to have a checking information whether it is already full or is it empty, or the first element is being inserted or a last element is DQ'd. Okay, so let us see how I can implement by the your C++ program. Okay, so this is a simple snippet of your C++ coding where we declared a class. Okay, and there is a kind of a size which is a represent the capacity of the your queue. Okay, and it also says, see here, initialize the, whenever queue is initialized, both the front and a rear are initialized to -1 as we discussed earlier. Okay, so this size you can define while creating or initializing your queue here. Okay, now so you should have in any of your queue representation, you have an NQ, DQ, and a displaying that. Okay, NQ will be taking a what element you want to insert. DQ you need not because it is always first in first out, so you are removing from the first only. So that is the reason we are not sending any this will not be taking any parameter. NQ will always the what element you want to insert, but the position is decided by the your rear end only. Okay, this pointer, but what value you want to insert is there here. Okay, okay, now let us see how I can implement this. So I have written some kind of, let us see that insertion. Now this is your what do you say, the queue. Okay, your say size is 6 here. Okay, so I have taken the array which contain, which is, it can take the 6 elements in this. So initially it is pointing 0. These are the elements for this. As we discussed, front and a rear is initialized to -1. Okay, so that will ensure that it is not, there is no element in the your queue. Okay, the moment I insert one element, if I want to insert one element, what happens? Let us see in this code. So the first it will check whether these are 0. See this, the front and rear are -1. So it will not go to if condition. So what happens? It will come to this branching. Front is equal to -1. Yes, it is -1. So it will insert at the first position. And remember, both of them are initialized to 0. So both are pointing to the 0th element. Okay, so first element is available in the queue. And what is done? You are inserting at the, see here, rear is initialized to 0. So at this position you are inserting. Always remember, in the queue we are inserting at the rear end only. Okay. Now this is how the your NQ will work for the first element insertion. So if I subsequently insert, okay, the NQ method, if I call subsequently the NQ method, so what happens in the next case? Next case, when I do, front is initialized to 0, so it will not come to this branch. It will not come to this branch also because the front is 0 and this condition is not met yet. Okay, size is 6, 6 minus 1 is 5. So this condition is not, so it will be coming to this. So rear is incremented, and at the rear position you are inserting the next element. So when I call NQ20, so this, it is pointing, rear is pointing at this, and it is being inserted at. So when I call again NQ, at this point it will be inserted, so on so forth. So if I call 4 times, I'll be inserted these elements in that. Okay, the front is still at the 0, rear is being moved to the subsequent position, it is incremented. Okay, up to this it is fine. Okay, now if I insert one more, okay, so what happens here, the rear is being moved to the at this position. Okay, so it is not this size. Now at the next iteration, if I NQ this, it is fine. But if I want to NQ one more time, okay, then what happens with this, this condition is met, because front is what is met here, you can just check here. Okay, see, this front is equivalent, because you can take a this particular condition, front is still at the 0 and the rear is size minus 1. So this condition, so if I insert one more, the rear position is going to be size minus 1. So this condition, it is not able to insert one more NQ. Okay, because at this point, if you imagine there is one more element is inserted, then this Q is full until I do some of the DQ points here. Okay, so this is how NQ is going to work. Okay, so the first value, whenever you want to insert, the both the pointers are changed to 0th position, and subsequent NQs, it is being rear is being incremented and inserted. But to check whether it is at the end or subsequently it can go to the next element or not, these two conditions, we'll see this next condition. Okay, so you are just inserting this and here. Okay, so this is how the NQ method is going to work. Okay, in the next case, so let us see how the DQ is going to do. What is DQ? You're trying to delete some elements in that. How it is going to be done. So remember, in NQ, rear is being incremented. So in DQ, obviously the front pointer is going to come into the picture. Okay. So this is the algorithm or a code snippet for your DQ. So what is done, I'll taken a same condition. So we have so many NQs, so the insertion is there. There are so many elements already in the queue. This is the empty space for us. Okay. At this position, if I do a DQ, so what happens? DQ will always go from the front. Okay. So I'm removing the element from the front. The front is moved here. The pointer is moved if I do one DQ. Okay, that is what you can see it in this diagram. So when I do first DQ, the pointer is moved to the at this position. If I again do the DQ, the pointer is moved to the next element. Now observe, the front is if you see the array element, this was index was 0, this is 1 and this is 2. The front is moved to 2 and your rear is at the, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it is at this position. Okay, so those are the values for your front and the rear. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let us see if I do the some more DQing. Okay, so there may be a chance when I want to delete all the element or how it will be working here. Okay, so how it is done here, and if you see this, you're just trying to see whether we'll come to this kind of condition. We'll just show you one more diagram. So if I insert one more element, this is how your rear end this will be working. We'll see that afterwards. So if I subsequently DQ so many elements, so I'll be both the front and rear will be pointing at the particular same position. Okay, so what happens here at this position, if I DQ again both of them, okay, if I DQ, that means if I remove this, okay, if I remove this element, what you're trying to do, if you see this, if both of them are removed, both the case front and rear both are equal here, I am reassigning them to -1, indicating that your Q, the circular Q, is empty. Okay, at this point, so both are having a value -1. At this point, if you do one more DQ, it will go for your this particular condition, because you are trying to remove the element where there is no element at all. So that is how you will be having a checking the condition of your Q. Okay, so when both are having the value -1 and -1, you require to display that. You can't, because both are, you are not indexing, there is no element to remove. Okay, so that is what you require to handle the error here. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, just to repeat again. Okay, so this is the condition how I insert the element. Initially both the your pointers are initialized to -1. Okay, as and when the elements are inserted, front is kept at the 0. Okay, this is the first insertion, both are made 0. When we insert some more element, rear is being incremented. Okay, so you can see rear can come up to this, but if you not DQ'd this, so you can't point again the rear at this position. Okay, so you are just going for the all the elements. Say for example, at that time I do the DQ of this, so this element is removed. Okay, so the front will be moved to the this particular position, the pointer is being moved like that. Okay, so that is how the DQ is going to work here. Okay, now there may be a condition where you can think of how this is possible, because both are coming to the next element. Say for example, I removed the two elements. Front was initially at this position, 0th position. So I DQ'd that, so front is come at this position. So in the linear array, I can go up to size -1, because that is the only linear representation. But in the case of circular, the moment you got the insertion, if I want to insert at the next element, the size is a incremental value. So you are incrementing. Say for example, it becomes, now size is kept as there is no change in the, I can use a mod value for that. So I can insert at the 0, but I have to check whether front is not at the 0th position. The front is, in this case, it's at the index of 0, 1, 2. So the size is a mod of that is being, there is a place for us. So I can insert at the 0th position, mod of that. So when I want to insert one more element, so it will be incremented. Rear becomes the size +1 and the mod of that, so it is going to be at the first element. But if I want to insert one more value, that is not possible, because both will hold the same value. It will give the error, because now it is empty, it is full. Okay, so if I want to NQ one more element in this kind of condition, though if you see the rear position at the index 1 and at this 2, because there is a correction, when I increment this rear, this will be, it is same as the front value, so it will give the error at that. So that will indicate the Q is full here. Okay, that is this kind of implementation we call as a circular Q. So mainly in this case of circular, if you see the comparison between the linear and a circular, basically you are making use of mod value, and you're just checking if the size of that is more than your array size. You are just using a mod value and just reinserting the values at that particular information, which is missing in the case of linear implementation. We are just changing your array pointer, where pointers are being moved, but we are not referencing backwards. Okay, we don't have that facility in a linear queue. But whereas in a circular, we can come back to the first initial position. Okay, after your once I inserted it all the elements here, because I can reference back. Okay, there is a circular implementation, folded kind of. I hope it is clear. Okay, so these are the your conclusion from that. So the circular queue has more advantages than the linear queue. Other, because it is, you can see it is the what you can see, it is easier for insertion and a deletion, because you can insert at particular point because already the pointers are there and elements can be inserted easily, okay, at one complexity, whatever time complexity. And the what this is the same case for your linear with the another the pointer kind of representation, but we are not utilize the memory completely in the that array implementation program. But with the circular representation, you can effectively utilize the memory because there is no waste of the memory here. Okay, that is the important criteria for a circular. Okay, and next one is ease of performing operation. Okay, if you see this, there is no much complexity involved because you are not shifting the elements one position to another. There is no for loop for that. You're just using a pointers placement, so you're just incrementing the value which is an integer kind of or value indication. And again we can use all effectively the FIFO condition, that is nothing but a queue. Okay, first in first out. So whatever the disadvantage what we seen in a linear queue, it is overcome with the effective utilization of the memory. So that is the main concern with our, or I can say advantage of a circular one. Okay, so that is the takeaway from the circular implementation. So from the exam point of view, this is also very important. So there may be a questions like implement using the array, a circular implementation, or it can be implemented by the linked list. Okay, so circular queue is important, even the linear queue. So you should be knowing both the implementation in our data structure, how you can be implemented by the array as well as the linked list. Okay, now if you come to the complexity or the advantages or something like that. So what you can see, time complexity. Time complexity is, as you see, it is only the, if you see big O kind of notation algorithm analyze, it is the one, because at one I can hold, I can index, I can point to the particular position and I can insert or delete the information, and there is no loop. Okay, this is a main advantage. So if you see the application, many memory management we use a circular. Okay, but if you should be remembering in the your physical represent a physical this one memory is in the linearly available. Okay, they are packed in the linear form only. Okay, there is no like circular representation, only we are making use of this representation to just to say the pointers can be reverse or folded back or kind of representation. Okay, so don't be under the impression memory is in a circular kind of, it is not like that. So it is just a continuous memory location. In the case of array representation, continuous memory is allocated, but the pointers can come back to the initial position also by the mod operation. Okay, so that is the advantage with the memory. And if you see the traffic system, most of your computer controlled traffic system, or they use a circular queues, and because they revolve come back to the same position again and again. Okay, so that is the circular representation. If you see the red light, it is glowing at particular, again it come back to the same state. If you remember a logic design, you can say the state diagram. If I put a state diagram, again it will revolve, it come back to the same position. Okay, so it is a circular representation. Okay, So it is also the CPU scheduling. Most of the things we'll do with the scheduling. So again, it will be coming back to the same position again and again. It is repetitive positions what we are trying to do. So most of these applications will go with the circular implementations. So that is about a circular queue. If you have any doubt, you can put me in the chat, because I'm not able to hear from your side. Some issue with my speaker or mic. So if you have, put it in a chat. Okay. Okay, I don't see anything from the chat. I hope it is clear, and I don't see anyone chatted in this. Okay. So that is about your circular window, circular representation. Now let us go for a basic of your I will not go in depth of the linked list, because it takes this, but I wanted to give you the how the linked list and what all operation we can perform with that. Okay. So you may be already knowing a kind of linked list, which is very well known in the case of a C programming. Okay, we'll be using lot of pointer in the C programming. Okay, so we will be using this kind of data structure in our linked list, or linked list is one kind of data structure which will be useful for representing all these concepts. Okay, queue or other, we will see other tree and all those things. Okay. Now, linked list, the name itself. So there will be list. Okay. So list is nothing but one connecting the first item, second item, something. So there is a list of that. But they are linked to each other. So the name itself is very clear to that. Okay. So they are linked list. So list are which are linked together. Okay. Now I can implement in a various form. So basically what you're trying to do it here, you have a data in most of the all previous cases. Data, if I see the array, so data is here and I'm indexing by the array, whatever the index element. Okay, so each element is indexed by the array. Okay, array, whatever I say, a of 0 or something like that. Okay. Now, what exactly you've done? If I want to go to the next element, I will be taking a array name and its incremented index value of that. So because in array, we see it as they are connected together. The memory allocation is continuous. That is a basic difference between a linked list. In this case, memory need not be allocated continuously. There may be a case where I want to allocate 10 memory allocation, 10 element. I want to insert 10 elements, but the memory availability may not be continuous. Okay. So in that case, array representation is going to fail, because it will give there is no enough memory. Okay. But that can be overcome by the linked list. But at the same kind, there is a increased complexity. Why? In the array, it is a simple enough. Okay, because their memory is allocated continuously, so you can increment the pointer or your array index, whatever element, then you can point to that particular element. But that is not case in the case of linked list, because this can hold a data as well as where it has to point. Okay, this is a pointer for next element, linked list. So list element is nothing but here, but what is being linked, where it is being linked, has to be hold here. Okay, so this is the main difference between an array and a linked list. So any linked list, this is a basic unit of that. So we call as a node. Node should have a data. There is a provision to hold the data as well as the referencing to the next element. Okay. Okay. In the doubly linked, we'll see it can go back to the front also. But this is a minimum requirement for the any linked list. That means it should have a provision to hold the data as well as referencing element where it is being linked. Okay. That is not the case in the case. So I'll be using two memory. If you see this, I'll be requiring at least or minimum 2 memory information to hold, one for data, one for link. Okay, so in that way memory requirement will be increased, but the provision will see the advantage with the linked list also. Okay, so most of all our complex data structures, we use say trees or graphs, or you can implement a queue or circular queue and all that. So they can be more effectively done by the linked list as compared to the continuous memory allocation in the array. Okay, now let us see basics of linked list. Okay, so what are the advantage? If you see the linked list, they are dynamic. So why dynamic? In the when I write a program, I will not be aware of what is that memory, whatever available to the next point. Okay, so I will not be having that information, but it will can be get when I run that program. Okay, so that is the important. You are just using a pointer, and pointer value, what it is holding or what is the pointer, the referencing value will be dynamically created, or it is being pointed. So it is mainly on a dynamic allocation of a memory. Okay, and insertion and deletion can be easily implemented, because what you're trying to do, you have a linked list. If I want to drop a element, you're just changing that reference value, you are just removing that element, just representing that you are removed from the list. List means again reference value, the memory link which we are planning or we are talking about will be removed from there. Okay, so basically the pointers are going to play a vital role in this. Okay, now stack and a queue, okay, they are also can be implemented very easily here. Okay, and a linked list reduces the access time. Access time in the case of array, okay, if I want to say for example, most of the some cases where the access time will be more in the case of array. Okay, because if I want to search the element one by one, I have to go in that. But we'll see. Okay, all these concept we can see that. So this will be easier for us. Okay, so we can do it more better, or in a different way from this. Now, what can be a disadvantage with this? The memory is wasted. Why? Because each node will be a minimum, okay, value it should be capable of holding a data as well as one more point, okay, one more information it should hold, where it want to point or next element reference to that. Okay, so this will represent, it will take, okay, memory, extra memory will be taken here. Okay, compared to the array. So no element can be accessed randomly. Here in the case of randomness, because each one is holding the next element. If I want to travel to the next element, I should pass through this only, because the value, the information is here. Okay. So if I want to travel to the next element, I have to pass through this elemental value only. Okay. As in the case of array, I can go to the fifth element, I can go to the nth element, because it is just the I'm trying to index is direct, because memory allocation is direct. Okay, it is simple, it is continuous. So I can just point by array index value. Okay, I can go to the nth of that. But to travel in that way, it will not be possible in the case of linked list. Okay, now reverse traversing is difficult in a linked list. We have written as a general, but in the case of single linked, it will be difficult. But there is a method called doubly linked. We'll see the pros and cons of that. So reverse traversing, but in the case of array, you can see I can go to the nth element. Say fifth, I have an array which is declared as 5 elements. Okay, I can go to the index fourth element. I can take the what is there in that, or I can modify directly. Just I say a of 4 or something like that. And if I want to go to the next this one, I can go to the a of 0. Then I can point to the first element. But that is not so in the case of your linked list. So I can't go back so easily, because everything is not in a continuous manner. Okay, so they are randomly placed. If you visualize in a memory concept, one is at a first row, one may be another in a second row, something like that. So everything is connected by the your reference, the pointer. Okay, this pointer is a vital role in this case. Okay, so it will give me the where the which position I have to refer to the next. Okay, so that is the main disadvantage here. Now, where it can be applied, if you see, the linked lists are used to implement a stack or whatever we discuss, all the data structure which we are going to refer, we can be implemented. There are the advantage as well as a disadvantage by this kind of linked list. Okay, so linked list let you insert at the beginning and end of the list. So that is in some of the case that was a issue in the case of your we'll see that. Okay, so this it can be inserted initial of the linked list and inserting at the end of the, so it can be inserted at any point, but in between, yes, we have some issues there. In linked list we don't need to know the size in advance. So in the array we have to, if you observe in any of our array programming, we'll define what is the size of the array. Okay, and we'll say the array index. Okay, index of the element, we know how many element it can take. But in this case we need not, because we are dynamically allocating that. Okay, so you can increase, that is not possible in the case of array. It is a static in nature. So in the case of linked list, I can increment based on my requirement, because dynamically I can increase there. Okay, so if I want to insert one more node, I can just get a one more initialization part of that and insert the data and put a reference value. So that is that much is enough for this. So it is dynamic in nature, but at the same time we have some more difficulty in implementation and accessing of that. I hope it is clear. So just to say again, in case of array, it is continuous allocation and it is static in nature. That means once I define the array size, again changing will be difficult. But in case of linked list, it is dynamic in nature and each node will contain a placeholder for the data as well as the placeholder for the your pointer to refer to the next element. Okay, it should be, that is a minimum requirement for that. But that is not true in the case of array. We are just inserting a information because array is allocated continuously, the memory is allocated continuously. Okay, and you need not know the in advance the size in case of linked list, but that is not true in the case of array. I hope it is clear. Now let us see some type of linked list. Okay, so as I given the initial one in representation, so there will be data, there will be the next element where it has to point. Okay, so this is the pointer for us. Okay, so there will be data and a pointer. So this is the minimum node. We call this as a node. Each one is a node for us. Okay, and we call the first position, there will be a one more one more where which is the starting position of that. Okay, which is the head, we call this as a head, and end of that is a tail for us. Okay, so that is the, this is single link, you have a only single representation. So the next will represent to the next connection of the data, and you can visualize this allocation may be randomly available memories. Okay, so I can use the any randomly available, but the minimum requirement is this much, it should be able to hold this much of memory in that. Okay, so that is the how I'll create a single linked list. Okay, so in the case of your doubly linked, how it is different, data is there, next is there, but we have to have one more placeholder, what was the previous connection. Okay, so if you see this, each representation or a node will have three placeholder, one is for the data, one is for the next where it is going to the next element of that, or there is a previous information also. how it is different from the single one? In the single one, I can't travel back here because I have only the next information. I don't know who is my precedent, who is the first element. I can't go back by this particular. If I'm there at this position, I can only go to the next element. There is no travel back. But with the doubly linked, if you are at this position, you can either go to the next element by using this the pointer, or you can go back to the your first one by using the whatever previous whatever your folder here. Okay, the pointer basically. So if you observe the memory requirement, you will be requiring one more here. So overhead is there here. Okay, so you will be again, you will be having a head and a end, or the start and a end position will be maintained. Okay, so that is the mainly difference between a single link and a double link. And observe the start and are separate. Okay, start and the end is separate. Okay, now if you see a one more representation. Okay, so what is that one more representation? One more type of linked list. As you have circular queue, okay, in this case I can have a circular linked list. Okay, now how it is different in the case of, if you see a node, it can be implemented by single node or the doubly linked. Okay, but the only the this what you require to do, it will fold on. Okay, it will come back. The last node will hold the first element, first information, the first memory allocation of that. The last address, when it holds the first address, it becomes a circular in nature. It can be implemented by the single list or the double link. In the double link, anyhow, next will hold the first element, but previous in this case, it should hold the rear end here. Okay, that is how it can be implemented by the circular. So if you see, the circular linked list is an extension of your single link or a double link. Okay, only the change is the pointer what it holds. Okay, the pointer in the case of the single link, it is just the if you not don't have any element, will be considering this as a null. Okay, but in the case of circular, it will be holding the first element address. That's all. Okay, so in a single list like that, but in the case of circular, it will be pointing to the first element. Okay, that is the only difference if I see as a implementation wise. But if I want to see the accessing point of this, in the case of the a single link to whichever we mentioned, I can't travel, I can't get the first element information from the last. Okay, because it is not circular in nature. Okay, because I'm holding it, I don't have a information here where to point, where is the my first element, I don't have that information, so I can't go back here. Okay, so because it is hold the null, end of that will be hold with the null. Okay, so that is about the your linked list. Okay, so we see that linked list, it requires two more minimum. It should have a holder for a placeholder for data, as well as a pointer to go to the next, or in the case of previous doubly linked, we have one more called as a previous. Okay, so I can implement either circular or a simple one by just changing my what is the hold, what is the value I'm holding at the next, okay, at the end of the tail of. I hope it is clear. So this is a important one. So you can see how a list is different from the array. So I'm just comparing one dimensional array with singly linked list. Okay, in case of one dimensional array, it is fixed size. Okay, as I've been mentioned, so resizing is not possible, or it is expensive. We have to reinitialize so many other things. It is usually not done. So in this case, single linked list, it is dynamic. Its nature itself is a dynamic. Initially, we don't declare. Okay, now in the case of insertion, deletions are inefficient in the case of elements are usually shifted. Okay, basically when I implement by the program. Okay, so element has to be you require to delete or insert. I have to shift. If you remember insertion and deletion operation in array, I have to shift the position. For loop, there will be for loop for that. But in the case of singly linked list, because I'm just changing a what is it is holding as a next value. Okay, so it is efficient here. Okay, so if you remember insertion, when I insert the any element in the array, the size of that is going to be changed. And say for example I insert at the first element. Okay, the subsequent element has to be moved to the next position to take this insertion. Similar case will go for a deletion where size will be decremented but it has to shift upwards. So that is not required if you see in the case of linked list. Okay, now what is done, random access is very efficient because I can go directly any element. Okay, because in the element I can array, I can point by the index of that. But it is not so in the case of linked list, because I have to travel each element, then only I can go to this. It is similar to, you can remember, a treasure hunt kind of. If I able to find one clue, then only I can go to the next clue kind of. Okay, so that is the complexity of your linked list. Okay, so we can't go for this condition. Random access is not possible here. Okay, so that is the main difference when I go for a your array kind of and a list kind of. Okay, a linked list basically. Now, in the case of array, there is no memory waste. Okay, why? Because element and only elements you are keeping. You are not keeping an overhead of your pointing values or reference values, because in the case of a linked list, I require to store extra information for the references. Okay, if I see the single list, I have only one element. If I have the for the doubly linked, I require two elements or two placeholders should be kept to hold those references. That is not there. That overhead is not there in this. Okay. But in the case of array, if you see, sequential access is faster. Why? Because it is it's a basic structure of array itself is a sequential. It is available. The memory, sequential memory is allocated for that. So it will be implementation or accessing them is very easier and it is convenient for that. Okay. And in the case of your linked list, sequential access is slow because I have to go one by one. Okay, if I want to go to the nth element, I have to go to the all the element before that. Okay, because there is no clue or there is no reference. I have to get that reference and go to the next one. Okay, but it has got its own advantage. We'll see that. Okay, why? Because this is the reason in this case, element not in a continuous. Okay, so I can't go directly to that access that nth element here. Okay, because they are not allocated what to say, continuous memory allocation. But then you can ask, though there is a overhead, how, why we have to use this linked list? Okay, the linked list main primary contribution or application is when I have a memory which is distributed. Okay, there is some part of memory when I allocate so many, when I write a complex program, see the memory is allocated maybe here and there. Okay, it is not in the continuous position. Okay, it is not done. But in the case of array, I require that particular size of the array continuously allocated. Okay, otherwise it will give me not sufficient memory availability. Okay, but that can be overcome by the fragmented. If I have got a memory which is available here and there with a some part of a continuation or not a issue there at all, so I can make use of that memory effectively by using a linked list. This is mainly useful when I have a fragmented memory kind of, when I use a bigger memory issues or something. I can make use of the already available small part of the memory and I can connect with them. Okay, that is the main advantage with the linked list. Though the if you see the complexity, yes, it is a bit complex. It is complex to implement as in case of array. So it also requires extra memory. Yes, okay, two pointers to be required for doubly linked or a one pointer extra required for a single link. Though those are the disadvantage, it is found to be advantageous when you have a fragmented or when you want to implement a dynamic memory representation for especially for some big program which consumes a lot of memory. Okay, so that is the main kind of what do you say, um, representation or difference, you can say that. Okay, but it is also helpful when you go for a insertion and a deletion. Okay, so I need not shift here, I am just changing the pointer value, so that is more efficient here. Okay, so coming to the, these are the positive point you can think of, and these can be a positive point for your array, first one dimensional array. I hope it is clear. Any questions you can always ask. Any questions? Because you can chat. I can't hear anyone's voice.
Ma'am, I was
If
just
you have any
asking.
doubt, you can chat in the your chat window. I'm not able to hear your voice. Okay, because some issue with the my whatever the mic, this one. Okay.
Hear me now?
Hello.
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear now.
Ma'am, this is you have explained that a single linked list is only for one dimension. But what if there is a two-dimension thing, like sort of like a matrix or something, and you wanted to access, you want to keep updating the values of a matrix, probably.
Matrix, in that matrix you are referring by the two values, a row and a column kind of, correct? But that concept itself is not there in the case of linked list. Everything is referenced by the next element or the first element. You can't compare the two dimensional array with the linked list here. Okay, I have a placeholder for the next like referencing and a previous referencing, but I can't do the two dimensional array representation with that here, because to represent two dimensional I have to have the, you have a continuous memory allocation in an array, but that is not true in the case of your linked list, first of all. Okay, so that concept is not that two dimensional array you can refer, but you don't have two dimensional linked list as such. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, you can pose now. Some issues are resolved. You can ask me the question if you have any questions. Students, please, because this is an important one, linked list and the comparison between an array and a linked list. So we will be seeing the implementation of a linked list for all whatever we discussed. Okay, so how I can implement a queue or a stack or other kind of data structure, and even we will be using this linked list concept for a tree or the graph, which we are going to yet to learn. Okay, so linked list is a concept. Okay, it's a memory allocation part as compared to the array. Array is already used with that. Okay, so that is also a representation of a memory, but in this case we have a dynamic representation in a linked list. So this can be concept can be useful for any representation of a your data structure, say queue or a stack or any kind of representation. So basically if you see that your DSA or data structure and algorithm subject, we should be able, you should be able to implement the data structure, say first in first out or last in first out, that is a stack for you. So all this can be, you should able to write a program using either array or a linked list. Okay, so be comfortable, try to learn those concepts. Okay, If you have any questions, I will take. Otherwise, I will conclude the class. So because next class I can start with the implementation of a single linked list using our C++ or any kind of representation. Yes? Any doubts? No doubts? So good. Either you understood very well or you didn't understand anything. I don't know which one is true here. Okay. So please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, you can always don't think your question is silly or something. Each one may be having the same issues also. So you can always pose the question and you can get clarified for that. And you can always connect with me through the mail or in the MS team only you can put a query. So that may be helpful for others also having the same query. Okay, so you can put that. Yeah, that's all for why the attendance is very less today. Only 81% I can see. Any placements? Students? Why it is so less? They are supposed to get 2 sections, right? 2 sections means it will be quite good amount. Usually we have more, okay? But today I think I could see very less attendance. Yeah, I think you might have received this, right? Whatever your sessional timing. Oh, Deloitte's is there. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, then I will stop at this point. So you can also join whoever want to join to that. So I'll conclude the class, today's class. Okay, so we see you in the next class with the our how to implement a single linked list. Okay, with our coding kind of. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.